Hi there, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to take you through an example of decluttering toys. I did a video a few weeks ago and in it I showed you how I organize our toys, but I know that some of you will be thinking, okay, I just have so many toys, I don't know where to start. How do I get to that point? So last week I actually went and helped someone declutter a lot of their kids' toys and organize them, and I filmed a bit of it for you, and I thought today I'd give you my top tips on how to get started decluttering toys and the step-by-step process that you can go through to make it more manageable. If you're new to my channel, my name's Mel. I do a lot of decluttering and cleaning and organizing tips on my channel. I make weekly videos to help you simplify your home and simplify your life so that you have more time for the things that matter to you. If that is what you're interested in, I'd love to have you click the red subscribe button below and keep watching. So when I arrived to declutter these toys, I noticed that there was already some sort of storage system or organizer system in place, and I would say this is very common. Most people have tried to organize their kids' toys or have tried to develop a system where things are organized. The thing that stops it from being tidy and from being manageable is the amount of stuff. So this is why I love decluttering, and I always recommend that you start by culling and decluttering before you even start to try and organize. Otherwise you're still going to have too much stuff for the space that you've got, and you're just going to be moving stuff around. So in this particular toy area there was one of those IKEA cube shelves similar to the one that I have. So really the main issue was that there was just too much stuff. Before you start any decluttering project, it's important to be prepared. I like to use cardboard boxes. My daughter's still in nappy, so we have a lot of nappy boxes. Anything that you have lying around the house, it could be plastic bins, it could be bags, so there's reusable shopping bags, anything that you can use to sort of contain and categorize stuff as you declutter. And of course you also want to have a bag for rubbish. And the other thing is, make sure you've got a good little amount of space. Doesn't need to be huge, but make sure you've got a good clear space to lay out items so you can categorize them and clearly see what you've got. If you don't have enough clear floor space, then use a coffee table or use your couch and your armchairs as a surface to lay things on and keep things grouped together. If you are a bit nervous about doing the Konmari method where you're pulling out everything at once, where you've only got a limited amount of time, so you've only got 10 minutes before you pick the kids up from school, pick a category. So you might pick toy cars or toy trains or dress ups, dolls and dolls clothes to focus on in terms of your decluttering. Even if all your toys are mixed up, if you start with a basket and start focusing on one particular category and the little time that you've got, then that's at least a start. Otherwise, if you feel confident, then you can just pull everything out, which is what we did. When I say pull everything out, we still pulled out one box or one basket at a time and started sorting everything into piles. Kitchen, put all the kitchen food and stuff together, and we'll put some more of it in actually inside the kitchen to store it. But first step is decluttering and then organizing. Got all the train stuff together, and then there's a few other bits and pieces which we're still sorting out. Mega blocks, rubbish, miscellaneous pile. So this is stuff where we can't find the other bits, which we'll just leave here because as we go through stuff we're finding stuff and categorizing it together. Over here we started organizing the shelf, and where we've found all the stuff that's like baby dolls and things like that and a few soft toys, we've put them all together in this basket, and as we find more stuff we'll add it or declutter it. We are decluttering as we go as well. We've got army stuff here, a toolbox which I think we're selling, toddler toys which are going because her daughter has grown out of them. Then the next step of course is, as you go through and sort things into piles, have a look at each item and decide whether you want to keep or declutter it. Now for little kids, so kids up to about the age of 3 or even 4, it is easier to get rid of things. They tend to not notice. I would just use your judgment as to whether the toy's broken and still in good condition or not, and whether they actually play with the toy. Maybe it's a toy that is not age appropriate, so they've got an older sibling, the younger sibling is not quite old enough to play with that toy yet. Maybe you put that in a set aside pile where you put it in storage for a little bit and then pull it out when they're older. And if you're comfortable, try and be a little bit ruthless. I've got a friend who is planning to have more children, but she's actually sold things like a baby walker and a wooden activity cube because she knows that if she wants to buy it again for her next baby, she can buy it secondhand. She doesn't want to store a whole lot of stuff in her home, so she's decided to declutter stuff as she goes that she knows she can re-buy again, used at a good price. With older kids, it's a little bit harder for you to declutter things without them noticing, but I would just use your judgment here as to what you think they use. If it's something that they could possibly be upset about you decluttering but they don't seem to be using it, then set that aside in like a storage pile, like a toy rotation box. So you could have it in your garage or in a storage cupboard somewhere that's less accessible, where you can actually rotate toys and not have so many toys out in the main area of your living area or the playroom. The key is the less you have, the easier it is to keep things tidy. So remember those boxes and bags I told you to have on hand, those empty cardboard boxes and bags that you would need for decluttering. You're going to line those up. We lined them up against one wall. As we decluttered, we would categorize things into sell, donate, give away piles. A box for the op shop, a box to donate or to give away to other people. This is the sell pile, or actually we've got two sell piles. This is one here, and this is the start of another one here. We want a big box for the sell pile. We're making money here. The person who I was helping declutter toys, she was very decisive and did not hesitate when it came to deciding what she should keep or what she should declutter. But if you get stuck during the process, anything which is kind of like a maybe or you're really not sure, I will put that into a separate pile. Then you can decide whether or not you really want to store that later. I mean, you might end up with such a big maybe pile that you think, oh my gosh, I don't want to have to store all this stuff. What is my kid really going to play with? I would say the key here when you're decluttering, especially if this is the first time you've really tried to declutter intensely like this, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Remember that it may take a few rounds before you actually get it to where you're happy with how everything looks in your home. I've been decluttering for 2 years and I went through several rounds of toys, and every now and then I still declutter and I'm still not 100% happy with how things look all the time because I live with 2 kids and a non-minimalist, but I do find that it's made an immediate difference in terms of not having so much stuff to clean and organize and tidy up every day. Decluttering can be kind of addictive too, so you find that the more you do it, even if you pick out one item every day to declutter around any part of your house, you slowly hone your sense of what's important to you and what you're comfortable with letting go. And to be honest, I haven't really regretted anything that I've decluttered. Some things I might have second guessed, but then when I think about it again, like weeks or months later, I really haven't missed that item. And look at our sort of donate op shop piles. They're looking really good. And the decision has been made to sell the train table because apparently hubby suggested sell it. So I said, well, while he thinks it's a good idea, you probably should sell it before he changes his mind. We're going to see if we can find something maybe at Kmart to hold this in, like a tall hamper or basket or something. But in the meantime, we've just put all the Nerf guns in one place. And this is looking really good. All categorized, some toddler toys, army stuff. Trains and cars, dress-ups, dolls, superhero stuff, and games. And that's the train stuff that is being kept, which can be used without the train table. Now, we actually went on a little jaunt to Kmart and bought a few organizing things. My favorite thing that we purchased was the storage ottoman that we bought from Kmart. The Nerf guns were so long. At first I was thinking of maybe getting like a laundry hamper that you could just kind of stand them all up in. But when we went to Kmart, we saw the storage ottoman and decided it was perfect. It fit all of the Nerf guns perfectly. It was the perfect length. That's my other tip. Measure things before you go to the shop so you know how big you need your baskets and things and what's going to fit into storage cabinets. But my other tip is don't go too crazy buying organizing solutions straight away. Use what you have first, even if it means that temporarily you use the empty cardboard nappy box to store things in until you can see how the system is working for you. You will fine tune it over days and weeks. Remember that you can always buy more stuff later. It's a little bit harder when you've bought everything, used it, taken all the labels off, you can't return it to the shop if you then decide it's not working for you. Try not to get too carried away with buying a lot of expensive organizing solutions straight away. She was so happy with the results, and I was happy that she was happy with the result. Even after her son came home from school and had a look at it, he was delighted because he could find all of his stuff, and we'd also found stuff that he thought was lost. I have checked in with her again now. It's been a week or so later. Her son is doing a great job of maintaining it and keeping things tidy. Her toddler, not so much, but she's only 2. This leads me to my next tip is how to maintain it. One of the rules I have with my kids, I'm not too strict on you can only have one toy out at a time, but I do kind of place loose limits on it. If I think they're starting to pull out too many things, I'll say, okay, it's time to put X, Y, and Z away before you get anything else out. And they'll generally do that. Also, in terms of the inflow of toys, try to maintain a 1 in, 1 out rule, or if you are still in the process of really trying to declutter hard, then I would do like a 1 in, 2 or 3 out rules. You may have people gifting your kids things. Do try and limit the shopping, because that is part of decluttering as well, trying to decrease how much you're bringing stuff into your home. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with the same problem with too much stuff. And then to make it easier on you, have a regular tidy up routine in place. Generally, I do a bit of a tidy every night, but there's some things that you might leave out that you know they really want to play with, especially if they've taken the time and imagination to set something really big up and they are really proud of it. I hope you found this video helpful and motivating. Please give it a big thumbs up if you did, and of course remember to subscribe by clicking on my face below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!